they needed. But as they were highlighting, it is all eyes on 12th place. That last team that's going to make it directly to those finals, not going to have to suffer the survival stage. Which teams are going to make it? Let's get into our final Erangel of the group stages. Novo over towards South George as we head on in for our final pass over the grassy pastures with dual gaming chipsets and 144Hz AMOLED screen. The GT20 Pro will equip teams with up to 120 FPS, which is also the first batch of supported devices, offering esports level performance and visually stunning experiences in the 2024 PMWC. Let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off. Let's get it going, folks, because right now it is do or die for so many of these squads. You got to remember, it is top 12 that are moving on to the finals. Bottom 12 are going to go to that survival stage, and that is a place you do not want to be. You got hungry squads that have been waiting for that moment. They're studying you time and time again, so you want to make sure you can do everything you possibly can. You got to put it all on the line right now, and there's a lot of squads that really need to do that starting right here, right now.
Absolutely. They have got a lot of work to do. Out early over Milter Power. Vampire not going to be heading over to Primorsk this time. Playing over on the east side, close to Boom in Milter. Team Liquid down to C Block, down towards that military base on the south side. And we're not going to have any spicy military circles this time around, Hot Juice. We're keeping it chilled out now as things get a little bit more intense for our players. It's a circle that centers on Pachinki, which doesn't really give too much away. You could still go north of the river, you could still go to the military island, as unlikely as it is, but we're going to be allowing a lot of time for these teams to get things done.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely need every single second they can get, but oh, it looks like we got a runner here. Power Esports on the run. Talon possibly looking to hunt him down here. Let's see if he's going to be able to get those shots. He has an AK. If you're going to use any weapon, that's the one to do it with.
Damn.
And they are definitely committing to this.
Pop the spray, witness me, chrome on the teeth right now for Talon. They're trying to claw some points back to their tally. On the chase, they're already sitting at the top end of the teams playing today. You can see they're on 60 points right now. They want to keep that one going. We were looking the other day at where we think that bubble's going to be. It's likely around the low 70s is where we're going to see that 12th place sit. So if you can push up over 80 points today, that would be phenomenal. 3 games to get 20 points for Talon, it's doable.
Yeah, totally doable for sure. And right now that cutoff is going to be where Brute Force is, 53 points. They're going to get passed up for sure. So hopefully we can see them do something in the survival stage. But there's a lot of big names here that still need to cross that gap. I'm looking at you, Vampire Esports. I mean, even, you know, Inco Gaming. They had a great game, that last one. That definitely helped them out here. Oh, look at that. A little pistol action there.
I don't think he's shooting at anyone. He's shooting at Severny for TJP. And currently, nobody is in Severny.
Getting their fingers warm.
He's just getting rid of the ammo. It's like, it's quicker than opening your inventory. Just shoot the bullets, you know?
Just shoot him up. And you can just see he's just mad. He's there just punching those fists in the air, trying to find that M4. Let's see if he could do it. So now he's starting to get looted up, which is great for him. But at the same time, man, they got some work ahead of them. They have 52 points right now. So TJB, we should see them in that top 12 as long as they have a good, consistent few games. But you know, when this is that moment, right? You got to clutch it up. You got to be able to get it done here and now, and you can't let those nerves get to you.
No, you definitely can't. You've got to be able to hold your nerve when it matters. And coming into this one, it is just going to be a question of keeping up the pace for the teams at the top of the block right now that they're currently playing in, right? We've got Alpha 7 leading from the top, 72 points already, which is pretty good news for them. This is a team, obviously, that people have expected to do well. Likely going to be able to get up towards the top of those tables towards the end of today. I wouldn't expect anything different from them. So hopefully they're able to keep up that pace as well. Currently in North George, and actually a pretty difficult rotation if Alula XIHC try and get ahead of them on that river crossing. The question is, how do they navigate that? They've got a lot of options open to them from the northwest side. We're seeing quite a lot of teams down to the southeast, I think, right now of this map in general. We're on board with IWNRX right now, and they are one of the furthest west of this set of teams out further east.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very cookie-cutter type zone right here, so yeah, there's nothing too special about it. These teams know this circle like the back of their hand, so Alpha 7, they're just getting looted up, ready to go for this one. You have quite a few squads that have already centered up, but teams are definitely, I think, prioritizing loot right now, and they're not in a big hurry, because I think this is that calm after that military storm we saw last game. So At the end of the day, though, you got to make it into top 12. That is the minimum result. And I actually got to have breakfast with Knight from Team Liquid.
Oh, lucky you.
That's right. That's right. So I got to have a good, long chat with him. And, I mean, for those of you that don't know, this guy here is one of the most winning coaches in PUBG Mobile. For the past, I believe it's like 5 A-tier events he's been a part of.
Yeah.
First place, every single one in different regions, you know? So to be a part of a huge org of Team Liquid is incredible. And I got to get a glimpse of just how well these guys train beforehand. You know, before a big event like this, they all meet up. They all stay in a place for about a month, scrim every single day against the top teams, and even fly out to different regions as well to prepare for a tournament like this. And, you know, Team Liquid, they did talk about just going back to the basics today, you know, just trying not to make mistakes, because that's one thing he stressed on. I was asking, you know, like, hey, you know, as a coach, you've coached so many different teams, had success. What do you feel is like the biggest problem a lot of these players have? And he just said it's just tiny mistakes that happen one by one after the other, right? If one player makes a small mistake, you can't point fingers at them. You got to be able to have that reset and continue the game on right now. As you look at CAG Osaka taking some shots on the Boom Esports.
They are just trying to slow down those rotations as teams start to make their way more central. If you didn't catch it, by the way, there was a long-form interview on the HQ show with Knight as well. So make sure you check that out. He was covering a bunch of those points, talking over the match they won. They were talking over their Sandhawk chicken dinner,
yes.
The entirety of that match. So definitely good to get a chat with him over there. And obviously you had a chat with him over, what, a pancake and a coffee?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that for breakfast? I'm not too sure. I haven't.
Good old plate of shakshuka.
What was it? What did he eat for breakfast? Did you check?
I believe it was just eggs and beef sausage.
Okay, that's a breakfast of champions.
That's
right
what
there.
it is. That's what it is.
That's quite an English breakfast.
And he was there right early in the morning because he was ready to put in some work today. And
Hell yeah.
The pressure is definitely on his team for sure. But one thing that he definitely told me that he's really proud of his squad is he definitely feels like his team has that clutch factor. That when the going gets tough, they can still perform. And they proved it in PMSL Americas where, you know, Alpha 7, maybe those hands started to shake once again, and then they were able to, you know, finish second place. Team Liquid just surpassing them there. So we'll see what happens. Right now, there is a good solid gap between Alpha 7 and Team Liquid points-wise. But you know what? Anything can happen here.
That's true. Anything can and most often does happen.
That's
here
for sure.
In PUBG Mobile. Team Falcons moving on the south coast right now, trying to scout their way in. A couple of inroads potentially going to become available to them right now. Again, still not too much conflict. You can see Top run around, grabbing a little bit more loot, not quite satisfied. Still is going to have that level 3 helmet, that level 3 vest as well. So they're pretty decked right now. I mean, I'm not too sure what more he could really be looking for there. Maybe, you know, a med kit.
Yep.
Seems like he's got plenty of nades, plenty of smokes.
Well, these guys are set up. They're ready to go for sure. So looking at the leaderboards, you guys can see that right now as we're about to get into another zone here. This is pretty much do or die. This game right here for 4 teams in particular.
Okay.
I'm talking about Harami Bro,
Sure.
CAG Osaka,
Excellent.
DRX,
True.
and IWNRX. These guys need a chicken dinner right here, right now, or they're not making it to top 12.
This is the thing, right? I mean, IWNRX is particularly an interesting one, right? Coming from the EMEA region, obviously it was Brute Force who are the champions from that region, but throughout the majority of the tournament, IWNRX were the best. And that was predominantly off the performances coming through from Zedwolf. He was an incredible fragger back in the region. We thought it was going to be a breakout performance here coming into this tournament, but it just hasn't been. They have been nowhere to be seen. They've been so quiet so far over the 9 matches that they've played. It's just not enough. And it's really unfortunate because I think Zedwolf definitely has the talent, right? And it's just somewhere along the line, it hasn't connected to what's going on in this tournament. And it's slightly disappointing.
Yeah, well, they're not out of the race just yet. I mean, there's still this match and 2 more left to go. You could definitely soak up a lot of points. But the problem...
They probably need like 50 to 60 points, though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is, like, in order for it to happen, we need a double-digit elimination chicken dinner right here. If it doesn't happen, it's nail in the coffin. I'm going to say for all 4 of those squads here. So
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, it is. It's possible, but not probable with the way they've been playing so far. And at the end of the day, there are so many good squads here. And we saw Gary go crazy in the last match there with a nice little 2v1 to win the game.
Hitting them with the snail trail.
Gary.
Able to slow them down enough. TJB on the northeast side, close by to Inco. Looks like they are just going to divert, fold back a little bit, get away from the scrap.
Yeah, this is the problem right here. When you get down to the last 3 matches, there are so many teams that desperately need points. And when that happens, everybody just starts turtling up, playing ultra passive. And when it comes to that aggression, they can flip that switch on at any moment's notice. So it's going to be more difficult to just get points here, especially like double-digit eliminations. You'd have to play absolutely insane because these are those championship rounds. So we'll see, you know, if we're going to see one of these teams on the bottom of the leaderboards be able to put a big performance up. Right now, it's not looking too good. Even if you're, honestly, even if you're Mad Bulls, Power Esports, I'd try to get it done right here and now because those last 2 matches, you never know what's going to happen.
What was it Barney said? Between like 10th and 20th, it's like 10 points or something like that? Or it looks like, yeah, like 11 points between Team Liquid and Mad Bulls right now, which is a huge, huge jump up in placements for what is ostensibly one good game compared to everyone else, right? You just need that profit, that breakout performance. So we'll have to see if that is in the back pocket, if they've got the rockets to strap to their shoes, blast themselves up the table. See how fast they can go. Right now, major feature of the circle. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Potato Hill on the east, Pachinki sandwiching it off on the west. The circle just about to pop, heads up towards Potato Hill. So the north part of that Potato Hill position going to be really, really hard fought over. CAG Osaka right now hold it. Are they going to be able to withstand the pressure?
They're going to need to, that's for sure, because they're one of those teams that, like I said, need a double-digit elimination chicken dinner right here, right now, or we're going to have to see them in the survival stage and risk watching their key get crushed right in front of their own eyeballs.
Owie.
That's gonna stink, that's for sure. So meanwhile, you got teams like Team Liquid, Falcons. Those guys need to put up some points on the board. They're all the way on the south side right here. They're gonna have to push through quite a few squads, and with that desperation time coming right here, right now, oh man, it's gonna be very, very difficult. So let's see how it happens. You can see Team Falcons trying to make a safe rotation, already starting to get popped at by Vampire. And that's the problem. With a zone like this, pretty much every single spot, central circle, is already taken.
Absolutely, and given the fact that there's no casualties right now of this match, it's going to only exacerbate that problem, right?
That's right.
It's just making it worse with 16 teams all trying to cram themselves in. Now is where things are going to start to heat up, where that kettle pressure is starting to whistle.
And it's whistling hard. And the problem is that nobody wants to open up that can just yet, because if they're the first to engage into a fight, the chances of getting third-partied right now are like 99%. So, you know, everybody is just waiting, hoping that somebody gets a little antsy and starts, you know, maybe a crazy push happens, and then that third party will come in right after. So we'll see what happens here.
That's not how you... What? Hang on a minute.
Very interesting.
That needs an insurance claim right there.
Oh, yeah.
Who's at fault? Definitely the buggy.
It's classic Mythic.
Oh, dear. Come on.
Oh, here we go.
They're on the road.
Team Liquid.
This is a bold send. I mean, they must know someone's up here.
But CAG Osaka's too split right now. They are so severely split that they can't support each other. And he's going to get taken out right here, 3v1. I think a big misplay from CAG Osaka. You cannot try to take that much real estate in a zone like this.
No, absolutely not. And that's what I was saying. It's going to be hard fought over. Can they withstand the pressure? The answer, no, right now. A point of their hold has been taken down, but they still have 3 players alive. And once they regroup those 3, Team Liquid can kind of act as that 4th player on their south edge, but it's just going to be so much more dangerous for them.
Oh, man.
Alola ex-IHC now clashing with IWNRX, who have been trying to push in for a little bit. Swain goes down, and we are finally starting to see these casualties coming through. A lot of them going to be happening over towards the west side near Pachinki.
Going to see absolute chaos ring out here in the next few seconds. You can see Alola IHA on the move. NRX going to have to sacrifice a player. Oh, and they're already down to 2 players. That's going to be quite difficult. Is he going to be able to get that knock? He doesn't. Goes for the confirm, so at least get 1 point. And they need every single one that they could get, because they are really struggling right now. NRX going to try to get this shot, and it's taken out.
It's not going to be there for Kine, unfortunately. Demo now trying to go on the swivel against Frozen with the AUG. Low HP for Demo, low ammo as well, and IWNRX win out that trade and take down Alola IHC, but Alpha 7 have managed to leapfrog them. In the meantime, Talon have pushed in on the north side of that position, and it's going to be so hard to extricate themselves from it with the remnants of this IWNRX roster.
Let's see what happens. IWNRX need these points much more than IHC did, and they are down to the final couple players as Boom Esports getting taken apart. Everybody's on fire, and this is exactly what I was talking about. The second that fight rings out, you know there's going to be some more players coming. Boom Esports going to try to go for a reset here. 2 players down for Moneymakers. They're going to start throwing out some smokes, and I think, yeah, both these teams should be able to get a full reset.
A lot of challenge on this south side, as well as a scrap going on. Harame Bro and Falcons clashing with one another. Falcons, they've taken a knock, but they can get the res. However, the zone is going to push them. It's going to push them hard. They're on the long side and need to flow on in past the positions from Boom and Moneymakers. Given that the fight is going on, that is the reason that Falcons can make this maneuver now. They're going to be able to have a route in towards the top of Potato Hill on the west side. The question is, how long are DRX and Mapple going to let them go for it?
Let's see. And if you're Boom, you need to get this fight done as soon as possible because you don't want Falcons to be knocking at your door here. The nades are starting to ring out. They're throwing every single piece of utility here. Yummy's the first one to go down. So Moneymakers could turn this around right here with another knock.
Trying to put the nades out through the window. The flush onto Yummy is there. Close range engagement, potential danger here as they push out, but it's dealt with handily. Koa leads the charge around the edge, and not a Moneymaker goes down. Easily taking control of those 2 players on the outside. But look, Falcons have made that move. They have surrounded this engagement, and the Moneymakers have bigger fish to fry.
The Falcons are swooping on in, and here they are. Just a little bit late to the party, actually. They weren't able to catch that third party right on time, so now it is going to be a fair 4v4, and Moneymakers actually have that edge with that knock onto action. Uh-oh. Koa down to, he's really low. He runs immediately away, gets into the shack, and he should be able to get fully healed up. But now Vampire is coming in here as well.
Thought that nade went in through the window. That one might do a lot more damage sent in. No, that one just bumps short. You're right, Vampire are here. Schwepp is going to be an outpost for them. They're not fully in. There's a nade. There's an opener towards Havlik as Schwepp continuing to keep that pressure on the back there. I'm not too sure about this Falcons push down the hill, but if they're sweeping out their sidelines, trying to keep control, then they're going to have a better chance of pushing up towards CAG Osaka after this fight. But they need to conclude it first. 2 knocks now over towards the Moneymakers as the rest comes in for Havlik, keeping 3 alive in the building, and the Falcons disengage.
They said, forget this. We cannot handle this right now.
Well,
actually, never mind. We're turning around. We're getting into the fight. We're going to go ahead and just take them head on. And Schweppes is right there around the corner as well. So let's see if Vampire swoops in, but Moneymakers desperately trying to take these players out to keep their tournament hopes alive. Top with the S12K. Brings out a few shots, but not able to get the knock, but that is it. Moneymakers are out of there.
And Vampire are still here to play. Can Schwepp do more now? 4 players alive for them. The rest of the team nowhere to be seen. Falcons have got 3 players. They can get these reses, but Schwepp does not have any nades. That is what is stopping him from really going for more pressure on this. The circle's moved away. They don't need to go aggressive, but maybe they should have done.
They needed to. They needed to. I'm so shocked that they didn't press this fight because Team Falcons are only separating them by 3 points prior to this match. So to take out the Team Falcons right now would be very advantageous for Vampire. But instead, they say, you know what? Let's prioritize Circle and see what happens. And it's a bold call. It's a bold call. Let's see if it ends up working out for them.
Schwepp a little bit out of tune right now with the rest of Vampire. Stoned tries to put a leash on him, pull him back in. Or maybe he should have been the one being pulled over towards that. It's going to be interesting to see how the 3 players from Falcons now can impact Vampire's position. The difficulty right now for the position for Falcons, they can't really put too much pressure over towards Vampire because of the way that the terrain sits on the south side of that Potato Hill. Spray from Mythic, 1, 2, 3, and the rest go up in flames. That is a huge pickup for Team Liquid on the west side, and the Mad Bulls, they are sent down.
See ya, Mythic shutting them down right there. 5 eliminations to his name. You can see that helmet right there. He found them real quick. That's how you get it done. So Team Liquid busting out some big eliminations right when they need them. And now they're starting to put some pressure onto the Brazilian brothers of Alpha 7.
They're trying to close that gap. Another knock, another flush. That goes to Talon, but that still depletes the resources of Alpha 7. And the rest are up on the menu. Ayala wants the shots. He's adding the pepper. He's making it spicy. McGrellin goes down. And Team Liquid, 6 eliminations now.
Looking so good right now. Very, very strong. Holding the edge of Potato Hill, and CAG Osaka are just playing this completely passive, so they're not applying any pressure from up the mountain. It's really up to Team Liquid to get it done here. Talon are trying to find a flank on in, and it looks like they are going to take that fight. Misery with a beautiful shot onto Ayala sparks this engagement.
Ayala, where are you? Need to be a little bit more consistent with those sprays, but let's take a look at this third-party potential coming in from Alpha 7 if they go for this full-out scrap. Talon really can't, I think, fully engage onto this. They just need to keep the suppression on, because Alpha 7 will move up, whilst Team Liquid are busy holding their knocks back. Let's take a look at this replay. I mean, all four in a car. Oh, okay, look, you move all in a vehicle, and every time this happens, I always say it, it's just going to go badly for you. That's exactly why. Let's take a look at Carrillo. He's going to hold down, but Talon, they're having their toll extracted on them. Ayala's going to get rest, and Team Liquid still with 4.
Team Liquid, this is the game that they needed right here. And I talked to Knight. He said that we're just going for top 12. We want to make sure we make it to that finals, but this is how you do it right here, right now. Meanwhile, Talon, down to 3 players. They do not have any kind of hill priority at all, so they may just have to stick it. But now, look at this. The fight is now ringing out between Vampire and Team Falcons, but now Vampire loses the advantage that they had a little bit earlier.
Oh, man, Vampire, that sucks so much. If only there was a way that you could have gotten rid of Falcons, right? Right? Maybe you should have gone for that down to the southwest side, but not to be. Tony K dispatched on a knock, but should get rezzed up here with smoke cover. Stoned is the off angle. Potential third-party, weird sort of action from Power as they start to shift down on the east side. You can see actually Kante and Easy both moving in on the east. So potential backstab if Vampire want to push this. Don't think they can really go too aggressive now. With that knock onto Tony K, Falcons have moved further up, and CAG Osaka not making a peep.
Not moving at all, but they're going to have to because this zone's going even further north, and all those teams are going to have to collapse onto CAG Osaka in the next few minutes. If you're Apollo, you need to start pushing up right here. You need to apply pressure on these squads while you have the blue zone working with you right now. But for the moment, Vampire and Falcons in a fair fight for now. Top, busting out the S12K through the smoke, gets knocked.
That's long range. That's the backstop. Stoned able to put suppression over the ridgeline. Smoke clears. They get the flush. 2 players now left for Falcons to try and hold on. Nurzed with 2 eliminations, low HP, needs to try and get some healing action taken low, and they haven't got a knock to answer. There's the knock from Tony K. They push forwards, and Nurzed now, the only thing to stop Falcons from going out. Team Liquid have an off angle, and they will get cut down, falling before the feet of the Vampires.
Vampire Esports, I cannot believe they were able to have this fight fair. I mean, there were so many teams right next to them, but they just allowed that to happen. CAG Osaka, a team that desperately needs so many elimination points, currently sitting with 0.
Those coffins getting nailed left and right now. Harame Bro, IWNRX, DRX, all out. Low point scoring games. You said you're counting them out. I think I'm agreeing with you. CAG Osaka on that lifeline. 3 players on the top of Potato Hill, holding off, fending off against some of the strongest teams in this tournament.
They got to realize placement points aren't going to do it right now. They need both eliminations and placements if they want to make it into the finals. So, I mean, they had so many opportunities to third-party players, but instead just holding down their location for now. TJB on the move, only S. Gonna make some nice shots there. Puts a little bit of pressure onto Gary. Gonna try to blow up that vehicle as well. Oh, but the off angles are starting to ring out. Yeah. Only S is in big trouble.
Inko moving out wide with Vitali to try and get the off angle, and that's exactly what you need. You just can't move on in now. There's full surround going on here. And it's going to be done and dusted for TJB on Erangel for the group stages. They've got 2 Miramars to play now. They'll have to focus on that. In the meantime, Team Liquid finally turning their attention to the remaining players on CAG Osaka. They're down to 1, and their tournament might just be dropping down to the survival stages in these next moments. But a nade keeps them alive for just a second more.
Oh, but it's only just 1 player up. I mean, we have to see an absolute miracle run from Naoto. Let's see if he's going to be able to do it. But now the Molotov coming on in. He's burning. Is he going to burn down to nothing? Oh, barely survives.
Wow. A big nade sent back over. And look, the Vampire with the third party. Team Liquid on the ropes now. 2 of their players are down. They only just got 1 res. And another re-knock comes through. Inko are there. And it's a third party, a 4th party as well. And Team Liquid fall. Naoto holds on the inside. CAG Osaka will finally fall, but Vampire hold the top.
Vampire desperately need these points. Power Esports do as well. So let's see how they're going to be able to end up on this match here. Tony K, look at that, 6 eliminations from Vampire and a dominant position.
That is a great result for them. Team Liquid getting pulled apart. That beautiful opening knock, and a lot of that was on Naoto from CAG Osaka, right? Getting that nade in, stopping Team Liquid dead in their tracks. They couldn't push up more to that building and finish the fight that they wanted to take. If they had that building, Vampire can't move in, Inco can't get third parties. But as it stands, Vampire now on the high ground. With Talon starting to falter, Power might want to sweep on through.
Yeah, CAG Osaka had a big opportunity here, a dream circle, but just weren't able to take advantage of it. Just got completely outclassed by these other teams. So let's see who is going to make it into that top 12. And every single one of these teams that are in the match right now desperately needed. Talon Esports being the only one right now in 9th place. So they are sitting comfortable. But man, it's going to come down to that last match to see who makes that cutoff.
Absolutely. It is going to be brutal. Right now, Power on the lower end of the tables for these teams playing, starting the match with 44 points. If they can keep things going, if they can keep it up, it will be good. But they currently don't have any eliminations, Hot Juice. That means that they're going to need to push real hard for this chicken dinner, more so than a lot of these other teams that are still in this fight. Nade over towards Newsy, not going to connect.
Oof, they need pretty much every single elimination here. And it's going to be very difficult because they're going to have to do this fight with Vampire. Oh, but they're so spread out. They're completely 4-man splits. They're not in a position to take a team fight at all. They're just going to snake their way in and try and hope for the best here.
Inco might be looking for this back-to-back, but if Nunes goes down like that, that nade might find Axel, but it's not even going to tag the damage. A knock on the front point for Inco is going to be worrying. But everybody's got so many angles to worry about. Vampire making their trudge forwards. It's not going to be easy. We'll see if they're able to make marks onto this circle.
And they're gonna, I tell you that right now. Vampire, this is what they do best, with their back against the wall and just being able to shoot at anything that moves. So they're starting to apply that pressure. Schweppes loses helmet right there. So that's gonna be pretty interesting to see how they end up playing it out. They have the high ground. Everything should work out for them. But you can see Inco Gaming has their eyes locked on them for now.
Spray from Schwepp and another knock over towards Verdan from Power on the northeast side.
Nice
and Vampire is keeping control on this high ground. Vehicle still available for Inco, putting 2 players in it. That's dangerous, but they got to roll straight over towards Power. They want to sweep through. This is a 2-player push. There's an 8 in hand. What are you doing? You're just going to get lit up. There's no answer as well. And Verdan is just going to be able to get res. They moved out, and Inco lose a really weird sort of fight. They try to push forwards in the buggy. 2 players completely exposed the high ground. I'm putting a big question mark on that.
They could have just moved so slowly, but instead they just try to full send it with the vehicle and got punished. That is Talon out now, and Vampire are just watching this happen from up top. Beautiful shot, though, from Nenebete. That was huge.
Only 1 player remaining for Inco, and it is Nenebete, able to land that shot. It's going to be good news. 3 players alive for Vampire, but only 2 active. Power have been biding their time with Inco trying to make that play and it not really working out. They've been given a lot more of an opportunity here, but Tony K moves forwards into a linchpin position. Vampire have got the res now, and they're playing on the high ground.
Alhaj has the MG3 to full level 3'd out. This man is ready to go. He doesn't have quite a few 7.6 bullets left, but he has a full mag, and that is going to help him out big time. Meanwhile, Nenebete being a thorn in the side of both of these teams.
Oh, I thought that might have just bobbled over, but no, it goes a bit down the hill.
This is stage 8, by the way. This zone's going to go about to nothing.
I think you're right. I think it's going to go pretty close. Tony in the middle for Vampire. And how much more iconic a Vampire style can you get, right? Yesterday, not great. They are starting to ramp up the pace, right? They're gathering their shadows around them.
They are ascending from the shadows here right at the last moment, right when it counts. And here comes Papa Blue, folks. This is it. The zone is now going to go all the way to the middle, and that is Inco out. We're down to the final 2 teams. Power have the low ground, but they have an extra player. And 2 knocks. That is how you get it done. Vampire are in trouble.
1 versus 4 for Tony K. He is pretty good, but I don't know if he's that good. Needs to start out strong with 1, but that's all he'll get. Tony K goes down, and Power clutch it out with a chicken dinner. Held on the northeast side, stopped anyone from moving around, and able to clinch it in their home ground.
Oh, the crowd goes wild. You couldn't ask for a more clutch moment because